What is going on, you guys? It is your boy Cyrus Obsidian here at Obsidian Games, here to bring you another local jank diaries, or local diaries, just jank. So let us swing on in. So for today's local diaries, we are taking some more jank after we took our dinos last week. We are going to take it with an old classic that we have played before. You guys didn't really like it when I played it before, but we're giving it just a little twist. We're playing Rescue Ace Fire King. So we are in the era of fire for now, and we are just wanting to give this old goodie a run. We played Rescue Ace a lot when it first came out. We were topping events. Airlifter gets hit. We were still trying to play it, and it just wasn't performing as great as I would have liked. So we're giving it a little twist, adding another engine to it to see if that engine will either bolster it and push it into newer heights, or if it is just as bad as we think. So we're calling it jank since Rescue Ace hasn't seen a lot of play. It has been forgotten and thrown to the wind, and we're gonna revive it with some new stuff. So let me show you the profile that we are hopefully cooking with and not gonna cook ourselves. And then we'll head on over to locals to see how we can do for today. All right, let me show you the profile that we are working with for today. So this is a 41 card deck. How we are playing 2 copies of Rescue Ace Turbulence, 2 copies of Preventer, and 3 copies of Hydrant. We want to be able to see this card as much as possible, so we're maxing out as many copies as we can. We play the 1 copy of Airlifter. I really wish this would, come off the ban list, or at least semi-limited. Then we are playing 3 copies of Impulse, as Impulse will let us get into a lot of our higher up monsters, whether it's the Turbulence Preventer or the 1 copy of Fire Engine or the 1 copy of Fire Attacker. And either way, Fire Engine gets us into Hydrant, set up our back row stuff to make sure that those are fully live, and then the Fire Attacker is really if we need those draws into Engine. But well, I don't know if it'll ever come up or if it's just going to be another body that we can use for our 1 of 3 copies of Emergency. And then we do play the 1 HQ, 1 Rescue, 1 Alert, 1 Contain, and 1 Extinguish. I had those reversed, but you get the gist. So that is the Rescue Ace engine. I mean, this is like, standard Rescue Ace. You might not play the Fire Attacker in it or whatever. You might play only 1 Hydrant. But since like the Synchro variant is out, with the loss of Baron and Borload, don't need to really worry about that. So, and then our next engine is the Fire King engine. So we are playing 2 copies of Sacred King Garunix with 3 copies of Fire King High Avatar Kirin, 2 Legendary Fire King Ponix, 1 Barong, and then 1 Arvata. So I thought this would be a pretty good, just a standard Fire King line. We don't want to mix it up too much with the Rescue Ace because primarily we were wanting to see Rescue Ace. This is just really great extension to it being fire. All these cards will be live, which is really nice. And then rounding it out, we play 2 copies of Sanctuary, 1 Island, 1 Circle, and 1 Fire King Sky Burn. So I figured the Sky Burn and Circle would be nice to be able to just play around some things, some interaction points along with Kirin during our opponent's turn, but we shall see what really happens tonight. And then to round out this deck, we are playing 3 copies of Pride of Prosperity because we really need the draw power to get into a lot of our stuff. 1 for 1, 1 called or Rhoda, and then 1 called by. So if you're also wanting to make this 40, you could drop the called by rather than playing it. But I do want the Rhoda and the 1 for 1 as that gets us in either Ponix or our Hydrant. And then Rhoda gets us into Airlifter, as Rhoda itself will just be a 1 card combo. Looking at our extra deck, we are playing 1 Garura, 1 Mud Dragon of the Swamp, and then 1 Dragostapelia. This is for super poly targets that we have in our side deck. Then we play the 1 Garunix Eternity Hyang of the Fire Kings just for extending board wipes. And then for our Link lineup, we are playing 1 Relinquished Anima, 1 IP, 1 SP. If you can't afford the SP, just drop the SP entirely and you can play Salmon Great Almirage. 1 Sunlight Wolf, 1 Heat of Fire Charmer Blaze, 1 Nightmare Phoenix, 1 Promethean, and if you can't afford the Promethean, you can just totally drop it entirely as well. You can put in its place Heat Soul, or not Heat Soul, sorry, Salamangreat Heat Leo for back row removal. We do play, speaking of Heat Soul, we do play 1 Heat Soul, 1 Nightmare Unicorn, the Amphibious Ambler Whale, and then 1 Zealantis. So if you can't like get Promethean and SP, what you could do instead is you play Underworld Goddess instead, and Access Code, which will suit the same purpose for what we're trying to do. But the reason why we're playing most of this is also since we can play along those Snake Eye lines, we can, there's a side deck card, which I'll show you now, that will help us just shut, I mean, it doesn't shut down decks that use the Snake Eye stuff, but it does kind of put them in a bind as they're left thinking of what to do, which our side deck card is Ghost Reaper and Winter Jerry's. Since most of the times if we are going second, this will just be great, just, all right, we'll get rid of something from their extra deck that we also play. We also play the 3 copies of Super Poly just to get around stuff. Enemy Controller, since we can utilize some of the Fire King stuff if we see any Fire King matchups, but also just like being able to do just quick battle phase change. We are playing 3 Cosmic Cyclones, take rid of back row, and then 3D Barrier. We're trying this out for tonight. I think, especially after last week where we saw, you know, bits and pieces of everything, this might eventually be evenly matched later, but we're just giving it a whirl. So that is my Rescue Ace Fire King. So let's see if we can either put some people ablaze or put out some blazes.
Okay, guys, so round 1, we play against our beloved branded Chimera, or Illusion Chimera, really, just with a small branded package. So we go first, we try and establish our board, he cracks it. Which was very unfortunate, but he's able to do it. Game 2, we are able to establish D-Barrier, get Super Poly, and we're able to crack his board on the crack when he tries to crack back. And we go game 3. He goes first. He establishes his nuts board. I cannot break it. He had Diabells, which kind of fringed on my hand, which I had Island, Rhoda, Extinguish, Impulse, Super Poly, and then I drew Impulse. Or no, I drew an Extinguish, I think. I don't know. Something along that lines. And I had used one of my Impulses on his turn. We had Fire Engine, Hydrant, and he was able to just crack it all. So that happened. So we ended up taking a game 1 loss, round 1 loss. I guess not game 1 loss, round 1 loss. So I'd say the deck is performing pretty good. Like the Fire King Engine actually came in pretty clutch, being able to just do a little bit of playing around on his turn. Wasn't enough though, which is a little unfortunate. We haven't seen, if I had played in my hand a little bit differently, I think I could have done a little bit more on his turn, but that's just to the way that I played. So we're still learning how to play the Fire King Engine. We've seen many people play it before, but we're still learning how to play it myself with Rescue Ace. So this is a great testing ground today just to see how that goes. Round 2 and 3. Round 2 we got the bye, so that's an easy round. Round 3 we play against Ice Barrier Runic. So this one was really interesting. He won the die roll, so he goes first. We had Impulse both game 1 and game 2, so we were able to play on his turn. Utilize that draw 2. I think in one case we actually did play the Fire Engine to get Hydrant out, and then we were able to just bait out a ton of his stuff, swing over and just control the board like Rescue Ace normally does. Surprisingly, we didn't see much of the Fire King Engine. Well, we did see it, but we used it a lot as discard because we had General Raiho. I think that's the one that makes you discard for effects. I think so. Yeah, I can't remember. But we were able to push through. So think smart, play hard. So we're 2-1 counting the bye. We don't count the bye, 1-1. Not too bad, not too bad. We got one more round. Let's see where we go. Round 4, we play against Zombies. So game 1, he went first. We were able to play through his board, crack it, and just gain control on turn 2. Game 2, he opened up first again. He established a board that we could not crack. He just had all the gas. Game 3, opened up, or how did it go? I opened up my board. We were able to do enough play, and then came to his turn, we had our stops for the deck, came back to me, time was called, and I had no burn. So we ended up drawing, which I took 5th, just barely out of getting top prizing, which is unfortunate, but I think the buy is what screwed me over, really. But had a fun night playing. We ended up 2-1-2 or 2-1, 2-1. I can count. And the deck performed pretty solid. I'm not mad at it. For being a put together deck that we have not practiced before until today. I'll take it. So that is it for this local diaries, local jank diaries, playing Rescue Fire King. And we'll be excited to play next week. So we won't be able to play Wednesday. We'll see if we can play Friday. We're going to take some more jank and see how that does. So catch you on the next one.